mean? Hope you're having a great day, whoever watching this. I appreciate your support, whether it's live or the rewatch. Thank you. And I don't think this live is gonna be for no kids. I don't think I'm a curse. Can't promise that. I think I'll just use cowards instead of curse or cussing. And I'll open these days. It's a damn shame that I even have to go through this. I don't have the right way. This is my jam, yeah. It's a lo-fi song. Got it. Jarvis. Hey, what's up, Casey? Okay, I understand. I'm gonna look and see what's the temperature where you at. It's 18 here. Oh, 19. Warming up. It's supposed to be 19 here all the way to 10 in the morning. Then it's gonna start heating up. Tomorrow's gonna be 33 degrees. That's crazy. I wish it would warm up before I had to go to court at 9 o'clock, but it's okay. I really wish I had to go to court on Thursday. It's gonna be 54 here, which is crazy because it's gonna melt all the snow and ice outside because it's stacked up outside. I'm gonna have to walk real careful in the morning and get into the car. I'll be all right. It's a damn shame that I even have to go through this, but there's some ignorant people in this world. Glad I'm not like I used to be when I was younger, because I would have matched their ignorant energy, but I just stared at them like they were crazy. And I just said, thank you. So I'll go ahead and start since there's some people in here. So this all started in September in the summertime. The landlord wasn't keeping up on keeping the property up. So I just asked for regular things to be done, like the bushes to be trimmed. I caught 10 mice this year. I wanted to exterminate her. It's infested with raccoons. They climb up and down the house every day, and it's paw prints all over my living room window. I needed that taken care of. And the right side of my sink is leaking when you fill it up with water, which is obviously a burden since I have multiple sclerosis and it's hard to like get around. So I only can use one side of my sink. So when I complained about that, which is some regular tenant landlord type stuff, the landlord, oh, I stopped paying the rent. Well, I fell behind and was about $800 behind. So he wasn't concerned about the stuff that would needed fixing. But when I fell behind 800, then he came around here. So I voiced my opinion, and I definitely raised my voice because the bushes haven't been cut in like a year, and they were like, and I'm not exaggerating or making it up. They were like 12 feet tall. I did a live titled "My First Time Going Outside This Year," and I filmed how bad the property looked. So after uh, I complained about that, and he showed up, he just left in the middle of me talking to him about things. He didn't even do a walkthrough or anything. So then a week later, he had his so-called sister come over here. I guess she's like the property manager. And when she did a walkthrough, she stole this out my kitchen. It's a bottle of, this is real cinnamon, if you didn't know. It's called Ceylon cinnamon. And I had just put a baked potato in the oven and left this on my counter. And I was sitting on this couch, and she was talking all nice, and she had like a maintenance man with her, telling me how good I had the property and how clean I am, even in my condition, and trying to butter me up. So when I looked at my kitchen later on, like 2 or 3 hours later, this was missing on my kitchen. And I only been out the house one time this year, so y'all know I know like every square inch of this house. You don't even have to know me, but if I've been out the house one time this year, I know like everything that's in this house, especially a bottle like this. And it's more expensive than regular cinnamon because they fooled us all our lives and not told us that this is the real cinnamon. You can get it like this, or you can get the sticks and shave it. I just recently learned this, so I'm just passing on my knowledge. And I'll just say this is for entertainment purposes only, so I don't want to get in trouble or whatever. But yeah, this was missing on my kitchen and a bottle just like this of parsley. So when I text that to them, I didn't even get no response, which is super unprofessional. But they're gonna show up 3 days later, and it was 85 degrees that day. So I had my door cracked, and y'all can see how close this door is, and the other door, that's the screen door leading to the porch. So overheard her saying, the person who stole this, I heard her coming up to the driveway saying, "I'm not like my brother who is the landlord. Somebody will fuck around and find out with me." And y'all know what that means. Even mostly in the black community, we know what that means because I think we started, like how we, started a lot of trends. But it's made it across the board that most races know what that means. That's a threat. So I text her immediately, like, was that comment meant for me? I overheard you saying that somebody's not like your brother and somebody will fuck around and find out. And she didn't answer. She came up on the porch and said, "No, if I meant it like that, it would have been a promise." Said it real nasty. Then said, "Oh, you must be miserable," and started saying that a couple times. And then she said, "Why don't you get up and walk, you crippled motherfucker?" She said it about 4 or 5 times, and was standing right there at the screen door. I easily heard it, but and I'm telling y'all this to share. Like the younger me wouldn't have went for that at all. But I was just staring at her and saying, "Oh, thank you," because I've been touched by our Father. I don't react like that anymore. I won't act ignorant or cause somebody to act just as ignorant as you anymore. So it didn't go down like that. And she said, record that. And I said, oh, I will. And that was basically the end of the conversation. And yeah, basically they stole this out of my kitchen with a bottle of parsley, just like this. Then came back and cussed me out because I noticed it and brought it up. Like, ain't that some shit? You're gonna threaten me because I know this was missing out my kitchen. Even was like saying, "Ain't nobody gotta," you know how thieves talk. Ain't nobody gotta steal nothing out your kitchen. We got money. You know when people start talking like that, they're full of shit, and they basically they they did it. And to add on that, I love watching murder detectives do um, what's they call interrogations. I love watching that because all murderers are lying and going to say, "Oh, I didn't do it. I wasn't there." So you get a good feel that like the body language and how somebody's looking up and down or with their hands, what they're doing. And I like watching interrogations where they have body language experts narrating and telling you the different telltale signs of how somebody's lying. Just to throw that in, I'm a nerd when it comes to watching like detective shows, interrogation. I even follow like some lawyers just to know the law. I'm a nerd in like some aspects of it, and this really helped because if you're new here, I won a racial discrimination lawsuit against a local regional pizza company for almost $70,000, and this I will definitely attribute that to remaining calm and not letting my temper take over. And I did that with this situation too, because imagine how angry I got with somebody standing 15 feet away from me, mocking me and saying, "Get up, you crippled motherfucker." Like, and didn't know me from a can of paint. Like, I could be a crazy, like, serial, you know what I mean? But yeah, I definitely have changed my ways. The younger me wouldn't have stood for it. And yeah, if you're new here, um, I've been touched by our Father, and I've changed my ways. I was different when I was young, y'all, and I have multiple sclerosis, and I basically show how I live with it and how I don't let that get me down. If you're new here, and I thank you for stopping by. But yeah, so to pick back up where I left off, they stole this out my kitchen, stole the bottle of parsley just like this, came back, and when I said, "Hey, was that threat meant for me?" Came to the door and mocked me for it. Then came back and cut the bushes all the way down to the ground just so they wouldn't have to trim them anymore. And I overheard her saying, "I won't have to hear about these," and I'll stop cursing. "I won't have to hear about these MF bushes no more." And yeah, just talk real nasty. So after all that, the next day, it was either the next day or the day after, they came and put a "I have to leave the premises" sign on the door. And I didn't pay like $35,000 in rent to this dude since like 2010. I haven't had no problems, but as soon as I want things fixed around here, I caught 10 mice, raccoons infested, sink broke. As soon as I bring that up, and then he came over when I fell behind in the rent, and I raised my voice at him, he gonna tuck his tail like a little bi and walk out of here while I'm talking to him. Then his so-called sister gonna show up and threaten me. So to make a long story short, and I wrapped it up pretty good. I don't think I forgot anything, but I have to go. I have to go to eviction court in the morning. They're gonna evict me just for all of that stuff, but they don't know who they messing with because I know my rights, and I'm gonna get up and go to court even though it's icy and snow. It's like 2 or 3 inches of snow out here. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio, but my home health aide and are gonna help me get down there. Luckily, it's not that far. But yeah, I'm not gonna let nobody treat me like that. And instead of doing anything street type stuff, I'm gonna just let the courts handle it. And if you're new here, I was successful in federal court before against a local pizzeria, a regional pizzeria. And I won't name the name because I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement. But I will say it rhymes with narcos. And yeah, it settled for almost 70,000. And the manager on the day that he was firing me, he tried to test me just like these ignorant people. He said, "What are you gonna do? Take me outside and beat me up?" I said, "Nah." I went over to the federal poster on the wall and I tapped it like this. I said, "Nah, these people got my back." And a week later, I went downtown to the federal building and filed a racial discrimination lawsuit with the EEOC. So if you ever have this type of trouble with your employer, a racial discrimination lawsuit, go to the EEOC. I had to learn all this on my own. And then I wrote out a journal of everything that was happening to me, which was like golden. And then I had three witnesses at the place where I worked who stood up for me and stood up for me because he was calling me an N word behind my back when I was a delivery driver at that time, and yeah, just being just real nasty. And he got fired as part of the settlement too. He was making like 44,000 a year, which is one of the best parts. I mean, obviously the money, the 70,000 was the best, but that was definitely right up there. Him getting fired, and yeah. So know y'all rights out there. If whether you work for somebody, you're renting from somebody, I can't even talk. Renting from somebody, know your rights because people will like to try to just treat you any old kind of way. But I'm proud of myself because I just stared at this, and I'm gonna just call her a lady just for the story, but she didn't act like one. I just was staring at her like my eyes was basically saying, "Who the f are you talking to?" But I didn't say nothing, but just thank you, and kept it like that. And I have to go to eviction court in the morning at 9 o'clock, but everything's gonna be all right. I'm not worried one bit. And I believe from what I've read, if you threaten somebody and make fun of them being handicapped in the same realm, you violated the Americans with Disability Act, which will bump it up to federal. And we'll see once I'm done filing this report. I've already called the police right before I started this live stream. And I told them I called the police in September when she was putting the eviction thing on the door, but she backed out the driveway before they could get here because they were on an important 911 call. And I told them this is not an emergency. And they didn't end up showing up that day. I guess it was like a big, huge emergency, but it was filed in the system. So I was calling tonight to pick back up and file official police charges and do it the right way. And I was gonna do it Tuesday, but if you see my channel, I got pink eye after I woke up from my 5 hour stream. I was exhausted, and I think I touched my face after I was messing around with the raw steak that I cooked on that live that night. And I believe that's what triggered the pink eye. And that was the most pain I've ever felt in my eyeballs. And I begged guys, please heal my eyes because I felt like I was going blind. Like, and I'm not joking around at all. And it took until from Tuesday to about Friday for me to start being able to read words. That's how blurry my vision that got. And yeah, that was super scary, y'all. But yeah, I feel 100% better. It felt like how you get a pebble in your shoe. It felt like that was tucked down in my eyelid, and you can imagine how irritating that was. And but I still was in good spirits because I believe in our Father so much that when the firefighters were here, they had me leaned over right here on this armrest, and they poured shot saline water in my eye twice. And this thing for kids, he said, "Nah, it's gonna squirt out kind of fast." And I was still in such a good mood. I said, "That's what she said," and they both laughed. And I said, you got to laugh through the pain. And they said, yep, that's true. But when I tell y'all I was on like 10 out of 10 pain and my eyeball looked like I don't have nothing red, but just it was as red as a stop sign, like no joke. Like I use green, so my eyes are like glossy and red most of the time, to be honest. But they're nowhere near. They're nowhere near how red this eye was, and I'm so blessed, y'all. So yeah, I might stay up all night. I don't think I'm gonna stream all night. Like that's no joke doing a 12-hour stream. I had it, I had it in me until I ate that steak and the eggs and the potatoes. If you watch that stream, I was smashing those potatoes and eggs. They were so good. And then the steak, it was up there, but I should have put a pat of butter on it at the end and made it a little bit more juicy and cooked it a little bit more how I wanted. But it was still good though. But yeah, I think I got pink eye from that steak that I cooked on that 5 hour live. So yeah, everything gonna be fine, y'all. And look how cool my mom is. She got me this book, so I won't go into court thinking I know everything just since I won a federal case. But this is a whole different ball game. That was employer law, and this is landlord tenant law. So I'm gonna go in there knowing a couple things. And I called the legal aid in Cleveland, and I talked to the receptionist for about a good 20-30 minutes, and she relayed some of the lawyers' messages, and she said that they will be in contact with me through my email since it's such a short notice because it's tomorrow. They are going to contact me through my email and give me legal advice through my email before the court proceeding. So that's pretty cool, and yeah, I really appreciate that. So, and I really didn't want to do this. This is my first time calling the police on anybody, y'all. And I mean, it's only right if somebody gonna threaten me and make fun of me being handicapped. Like, you really deserve to have the police called on you. It's some super ignorant stuff. I mean, I never thought about doing some stuff like that, especially if you the landlord's family. Like, how dumb is that? And this dude know that I won a federal lawsuit before. I mean, but everybody don't have common sense out there, and I know everybody that's watching this in the world on the live or rewatch. Yeah, I know some people they don't get it. Common sense is not that common. But if I was on landlord, I wouldn't mess around with nobody I knew won a federal lawsuit before for up to 70,000. But I don't know. I'm different. Yeah, but thank y'all for joining my live, and it really feel good. I got 162 subscribers. I said this yesterday, but it feel like 162,000 to me, and I'm really like appreciative and humble because most of the time it's just me on here because I'm in the house all the time. I only been out the house one time this year, y'all, and I made a live about it. And I was in my power wheelchair and filmed around the yard. It was 85 degrees that day in October. And I said, oh, I got to go outside because it don't hardly ever be in the 80s in October in Cleveland, Ohio. And that's where I am. So, yeah, y'all might like that. Check that live out when I went out in my power wheelchair. And I grounded it. I put my feet in the grass and I put my hands on the tree. Became a tree hugger that day. That's funny that we kind of made fun of like people who are hippies or whatever and people that call themselves tree huggers, but they really knew what it was and to have a true connection and with the earth. I won't get all earthy on y'all, but if you don't know, read how good it is to ground yourselves with no socks and shoes on in the grass, and how good it is to hug a tree. I know it sounds weird as but it's not. Trust me. I thought it was too until like you don't know until you educate yourself and read about it. And I read that like it's good that when you hug your pets and they've been playing outside all day, that they have the ability to like do like an ion charge or something. Don't quote me on this, but because I read the same thing about how the trees do the same thing. Like when you hug your pets when they come in, it does something like ionically. Just read about it because I don't, don't quote me though. But that was pretty cool because I love pet. I mean, I love dogs. I don't hate cats, but I'm not a cat lover. But I love dogs though. German shepherds specifically. So I put the call in before I started the live to the police department, and I told them that I wanted to catch back up with the charges that I was filing in September. And now the dispatcher said that they he would hand it to the officer that will be in charge of this type of deal, and the officer will be calling me back as soon as he gets back. So I'm just chilling, waiting for the call, and get myself prepared to go to the eviction court tomorrow. But I'm not worried though. I'll be fine. It really pays to have patience because if I wanted to be ignorant like them, like imagine what could have happened. Just like when I was getting fired from the pizza place, the dude said, "What are you gonna do? Take me outside and beat me up?" And I was calm and just said, "Nah, these federal people got my back." Now imagine if I had, and I was very mad that day, and I could feel something was wrong. The MS in me, it gets triggered when I get real angry, and my left leg was shaking like very violently. I didn't know what was wrong with me though, because I hadn't got diagnosed, but I knew I was extremely mad though. But he didn't trigger me to want to punch him or nothing. I had a voice in my head saying, "Chris, don't mess this money up. You know that this is not right." And I said, "Yeah, don't mess this money up." And I just went over to the federal poster on the wall and said, "Nah, these people got my back." And a week later, I filed the lawsuit, and it took 3 years to settle. Yeah, 3 years to settle, and then they cut the check for almost 70,000. So being patient and having all your I's dotted and your T's crossed, it really helps because I wrote a journal out about everything that was happening to me as it was happening, and I dated it, and I turned that into it's called the EEOC, and I didn't even have to get a lawyer. The feds handled everything, and the woman I turned all my information into, and the one who kept calling me back, I think her title was a moderator, and she basically was kind of like my lawyer, moderated the whole thing, and then when the pizza company offered the settlement, she was the one who called and told me about it. And I think I would have held out for longer, but I was starting to suffer from multiple sclerosis then. So I said, I'm gonna go ahead and take the money and not be greedy. But I think I could have held out for more because that was the first offer was almost $70,000. So, and I'm definitely gonna sue these people too. I'm gonna file criminal charges on them, and I'm gonna sue them civic and civil court too because they just want to be nasty, and I'm not gonna fight back with my fists or the street way. I'm gonna just sue them, and yeah, this is the right way. Cause I mean, yeah, I won't say nothing else. This is the right way. So if you're new here, my name is Christopher Lee, and I show my life how I live with multiple sclerosis and how I don't let it get me down. And if you're inspired by me or if you're learning anything, please consider sharing it with somebody that needs some encouragement. And I appreciate your time. Thank you. And let me see what else. I think I pretty much covered everything. Oh yeah, I don't think I talked about that. Did I talk? No, I don't think I talked about this. So there's actually going to be two parties involved in this. This is the latest incident, but last year the second floor tenants, they were being super unruly. I'm gonna say unruly because that's like the legal whatever. Loud, making a whole bunch of noise over my head. I notified the landlord. He did nothing about it. And this is gonna make y'all laugh, but this is not the most mature thing I've done. But this was like the only thing I could think of to get back at her. I was like playing my, because I got surround, so I was even trying to drown them out playing my home theater and music like over the noise that they were making, but it was still a nuisance. So, and forgive me for this, y'all, but I started roasting this lady because I call myself a sit down comedian. Get it? And yeah, I started roasting her because she was super mean. And I mean, some of my jokes, they were golden. And one day, them jokes hit so hard that she came down to my kitchen door and started banging on it and kicking on it and threatening me, saying she was gonna get a group of N words to come and F me up, and then started mocking me. Isn't this crazy? This is like the same type of deal that this landlord sister did to me. But this was a year ago. So I just let time go by to see how things were gonna go and to make my mind up on how I was gonna handle that situation. And yeah, so I done been through this twice in a row. Isn't this crazy? Like, this is a damn shame that I went through. Somebody threatening me because they making noise over my head too much, and then I match their energy, and then they want to come down and threaten me. Like, people are such cowards. They never came to this door where I could film them. My kitchen door is a solid door where you can't see through it. I even told them, I said, why y'all don't make all that noise and do all that craziness in this front hallway where I could film it and send it to the proper people. But they weren't going to do that because they were cowards. So yeah, I've been through this two times, and I'm going to file charges on them if the statute of limitations hasn't went away. And they moved away about 2 or 3 months ago. But they deserve it too, because anybody that threatens me and mocks me, I'm gonna get them, and I ain't gonna get them the street way. I'm gonna do like the corporate people. I'll see you in court. So yeah, I'm gonna do it the right way. I know this is not it's not everybody's forte because everybody's not down with like suing people, but it's better than like harming somebody. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't feel bad, especially talking about me being handicapped. Like, all gloves are off after that. Like, yeah. So that's where we at, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So we're gonna have two parties. I'm gonna be filing charges against, and then in civil court, might be about three people that I'm gonna be filing civil charges. The tenants who moved on the second floor, the landlord, and the landlord's sister. So y'all, y'all stay tuned because this is gonna be pretty interesting. And I wish I could film in the courtroom. That'd be cool, but I know you can't bring your phone in and film. But I'm gonna bring it in for evidence purposes because I took pictures and I have evidence of like everything. Because I learned about being thorough with my case from winning that federal case. The more thorough you are, the more money you're going to win, obviously. And yeah, and you got to know your law. I mean, your rights. Don't let nobody trample on your rights, y'all. And if you're new here, I was talking about how I'm such a nerd. I follow a lot of channels that like show you your rights. I even follow a lot of I think they're called First Amendment auditors who go into public places to see if people know their rights, and they just be filming. And it's interesting to see how many police and government people and people that work in public places don't know the rights of citizens. And mostly it's in America. I don't think I've ever seen it across our borders. But yeah, it's mostly in America where I watch, and they're called First Amendment auditors, and they just will be filming in public. and people will try to kick them out of public buildings and all of that. It's crazy to see how mad and irate public workers will get just from someone filming. So if you're ever interested, check out First Amendment orders to see what I'm talking about. I learned a lot of laws from those people, and I follow a lot of lawyers. I'm a nerd, like when it comes to stuff like that. And I was mentioning I love watching police interrogations because you learn the body language and the telltale signs of how somebody is lying when you watch police interrogation videos. So yeah, so I'm just chilling, waiting for the popos. This is my first time calling the police. This is like so foreign to me. I'm 48. This is crazy, but they deserve it though. I hope y'all having a great day or night, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Thank you for stopping by. Even if it's just for a second, I appreciate you. And if you got any legal questions, I've been I've been successful in federal court before, so I can answer some of your questions if you're interested, especially if it's um, got to do with a racial discrimination lawsuit. That's what the case was that I won. It took 3 years to settle, but I was successful. And this might be federal too. I read that um, threatening somebody and making fun of them being handicapped, it could be a federal case. I forgot to look up the temperature in Vancouver, Tracy. It's 19 degrees here in Cleveland. Let's see what it is in Vancouver. Vancouver, Vancouver. You say, I got, thanks, Tracy. Yeah, I got this. Do, 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 do. It's 49 degrees where you are. Wow. It's not too often where I wish I had Canadian weather, but it's toasty up there where you are. It's 49. It's 19 degrees here, and it's supposed to be 50 degrees on Thursday here, which is like a heat wave because it's dipped down to I think 16 degrees the other day, and I'm in Cleveland, Ohio, y'all. Boom, 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 boom. It felt so foreign to me, like calling a police station and talking to a dispatcher. Like it's all weird to me. But since I watch a lot of this stuff, I respect the police, and I knew what to say because I know my rights and stuff. So that part made it easier for me. But if I didn't like know my laws and stuff, yeah, I would be in trouble because yeah, these people they would talk to me any old kind of way out. And if I had to retaliate it, then any type of lawsuit or that just go right out the window because you're creating a conflict. That was the same thing the pizza dude tried to do, but I was smarter than that. So I just stared at him and looked at him like an idiot. That's what I did to the pizza manager too, and this really got up under their skin. This is what really like ticked him off, where he started cutting my hours and not letting me take food home for free like I usually would because I was a delivery driver. And not to brag, but I became the best delivery driver there. And so what I did, I need to cover this. He was being racist towards other people there, and I asked, "Can I speak up for them?" And they said, "Yeah." And he had an hour-long conversation with me, like the first year while I was there. He tried to convince me he didn't know that the N word, was slang for black people. And this dude was a general manager at a pizzeria in 2009. Like, come on, really? And another incident happened with a 56-year-old white male, and he did the same thing. Like, and it was crazy. And I basically told myself, well, I'm not going to talk to this dude about anything except work related stuff after that. So anytime he would try to talk to me about like anything outside of work, I would just stare at him like he was stupid. And that really got under his skin, and that led to him like being racist to me behind my back and cutting my hours, not letting me take food home. And that's called retaliation if you're interested. And if you have a discrimination lawsuit with your employer, they can't retaliate against you for just not going along with like what they like, you know what I mean? Just because I wouldn't talk to him, he started cutting my hours and not letting me take food home, which was like a regular deal for the drivers. It wasn't like it was company policy basically. So by him doing that, he was violating my rights. And then with him calling me an N-word behind my back, we know that's not that violates federal work policy. So to make a long story short, yeah, he dug himself a hole. So don't get mistreated by your employer out there. Know your rights. Make a journal. Write down what you're going through, because that is gold when you turn it in to the prosecutor, the mediator, the federal mediator, or the lawyers, because it shows that you're serious. If you just go in there and you don't have any evidence, you're screwed because it's going to be hard to prove your case. So you want to write your experiences down in the journal. You want to have all the witnesses you can if they're willing to speak. I know that's not easy, but since I was a workplace, they were willing to speak up for me because they seen that he was an a-hole and I was a good person. And obviously that counts too. Don't be an a-hole in life. And I'm always, I ain't the life of the party, but I'm always cracking jokes or being having lighthearted conversation, asking you how you doing. I never brought my problems to the workhouse and treated people like an a-hole. So yeah, that's worth a lot. Obviously, y'all know that. I'm pretty sure people out here watching, y'all